The show is about to begin.
And Longoria yanks the line drive to left field. Then Carter comes on to get. Low at first, 2 out. The all-star catcher, Jonah Heim, on a 1-2. Chases strike through on an 0-1. Grounds one through. Texas takes the lead.
What a damn Game 5 of this World Series, and we're so happy to have this post-game show to air it all out. Let's hear from you. Questions, comments. Kurzinski is here, so is Kratz. I'm Braun. It's the Foul Territory World Series post-game show live.
You are now listening to Foul Territory. Welcome to the show.
Congratulations to the Texas Rangers. You are World Series champs. And they got it done in 5 games. And they can finally get off AJ Przinsky's back as Rangers fans win their first World Series title. Congrats, AJ.
Once a Ranger, always a Ranger, brother. I mean, sorry about it. You know, I mean, listen, 10 years ago when I was on the Rangers, we lost a game 163 to David Price. Today, they complete the ultimate comeback 10 years later and win the World Series. So congratulations, Texas. Congratulations, Chris Young. Congratulations, Bruce. Bruce Bochy, you got too many rings now. Dang it. Share with somebody else. But congratulations. I mean, all these guys, man, they 11-0 on the road. That says enough. They were getting no hit through 6 innings. Corey Seager, of course, starts it. But congratulations, Texas Rangers. Great fans in Arlington. They deserve it.
I will say there's a lot of hurt for Rangers fans from a little over a decade ago, and I heard it and I felt it, even though obviously I'm not part of that. I'm just a fan of the sport. But Joe Davis on the Fox call goes, they're 1 strike away, and I looked up to see the score. I was like, oh, it's 5-0. This is actually over, Kratz. But I mean, they did so many things right as a franchise, and it all culminates here with a series that technically we'll look back on and probably be like, yeah, there were some fun games, but the Rangers were the better team, and they showed it.
Absolutely. The Diamondbacks weren't able to make the adjustment that they made against the Phillies. We all thought the Phillies were the better team, and they made the adjustment. But look what Zach Gallen did. Look what this team did clawing back to make it to the World Series. They have to be proud of themselves, but also I hope they don't feel like they're like, wow, this was lucky. And I hope they're like, we can get back again. We have the, get a few more pieces, fill in at third base, another pitcher. But, man, you mentioned a ton of guys on the Rangers. Don't forget about Travis Jankowski and guys that were filling in throughout this whole thing. It means just as much to them as it does to the starters and the Adolis Garcias, and it's amazing. And is that shirt, is that jersey, is that Eurofit?
No, it's not mine. Mine I couldn't find. This is sorry. Hold on, I don't know if I can. Can you see it?
Nolan Ryan.
Ryan?
Nate.
Who's that?
Some guy named Nate Eovaldi is from the same hometown as Nolan Ryan, so I figured it was a fitting jersey tonight. Yep.
That's a good call. And what he did was insane. So, okay, where do you tilt? More towards what Eovaldi did to make pitches or that? Yeah. The Diamondbacks, I mean, how many times – I get it. Eovaldi made some sick pitches to get by, but how many times can you have opportunities like that and not come up with any runs? They got shut out.
Oof. That's kind of the story of the series, though, wasn't it? I mean, the Rangers with 2 outs got all these hits, scored all these runs, and the Diamondbacks just could never seem to get those guys in from third with less than 2 outs. I mean, they left 11 on tonight. That was it. 0 for 9 runners in scoring position. You're not winning many games like that, especially when you have a big fat 0 on the runs. I mean, listen, the Rangers got the hits in the 5 games repeatedly over and over again, and the Diamondbacks didn't. The Rangers, much maligned bullpen going into the postseason, did it for them and flipped the script. And listen, they just outplayed the Diamondbacks. There's no other way to put it. They beat them in every area of the game.
You're right. They did. I'm looking. There's so many great comments. Tofoon. Well, told the boys I would jump in the lake if the Rangers won. Water temp is a solid 52 degrees, so that's cool. Soak it up. Enjoy it, baby. I mean, this team went through some tough times for several seasons. They moved on from John Daniels. He was kind of one of those young star front office members, right? Not Theo Epstein status, but he was hired at a similar age. He was very young. He was there for a long ass time. They finally decided to part ways. Even Daniels admitted that, there were some flaws in what he was doing and how the organization was running. To me, I'm just so amazed at how quickly Chris Young takes over. And of course, you're taking over part of a rebuild that was already in place, but then puts more touches on it. And really, must have convinced ownership to just go nuts, because for what you're talking about, Kratz, the guys that have filled in, their starting rotation could have been Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer in their prime, and they didn't need them to win a World Series title.
Yeah. You always know you have that with Jacob deGrom. You get him, you're like, well, this is going to be electric, but I also have no idea if he's going to stay healthy or not. And that was the worst case scenario. That was, you go with Eovaldi. Eovaldi, before his first playoff start, I think we were looking at 3 or 4 starts at the end of the regular season that they built him up. And believe me, I was the one. I picked the Orioles to beat them mostly because I thought their rotation was more intact. And what he came from the first game of the playoffs till the last game here, like what he did was unbelievable. You'd think the season Monty was having, Jordan Montgomery was having, he would be a guy that would step up. But what did they sign Eovaldi for? Like 2 years, 36?
34. Or was it 36? I'll look it up while you're doing this, but I think it was 234.
Shame on you, everybody else who needed starting pitching. This guy, I don't know how you quantify playoff statistics in a contract, but as long as this guy has a heartbeat, he will be a guy that you have to look at and say, why would we not want him in our rotation for $17 million a year? That is an absolute steal because of what he does in the playoffs.
I looked at a report, and I only put this in my notes if it's coming from like one of the big boys, like a Ken Rosenthal, one of the teams that was very much in the running for Eovaldi, who we talk about pretty frequently on Foul Territory, the Angels.
Oakland. Angels.
Oh my gosh, they could have used Nate Eovaldi this year. Holy shit. Good for Texas, dude. They had starting pitching and they got more. That's what you do. And we talked about this earlier today on FT with Ken Rosenthal, AJ, my big theme of, hey, you have some extra starter depth, some dudes that are like 3, 4, 5 status. Cool. They can be in your bullpen and their stuff will play up and it will give your bullpen more variety and depth. So you're not looking at the same 3, 4 dudes for an entire 7-game series. And that helps too.
They were just, again, their starters were better. Their bullpens were better. Whoever Bruce Bochy brings in always seems to just do unbelievable in these postseasons. What has he won? 15 of his last 16 postseason series? Some crazy number. Also the Giants are looking for a manager, and they kind of unceremoniously just kind of dumped him to the curb when Farhan came in. And Bruce Bochy still kind of knows what he's doing, as we showed this year. So, it's kind of funny that, the Rangers went out, spent money like we talked about, made smart trades, and got the right players in there and tried to win. And look what they are for the first time since 1961. They've won the World Series, and they're going to party like crazy. They're going to jump in the pool. And when they get back to Texas, it's going to be a large party.
They've never done it. There's not many teams left in that category. I know it's not the oldest franchise out there, but they've been around for a minute at this point as we check out some highlights. And early on, it was the Zach Gallen show. Gallen did what he needed to do and then some. If you're not going to score any runs, you're not winning the game. Like, even some people bring it up, oh, I feel bad for Alec Thomas. Like, don't. It doesn't matter. The team didn't score. I know, he made a misplay out there in center field. Sure, it happened, but they didn't score a single run. So it doesn't matter. It's on the offense. It's on the bats for this game. It doesn't even, make it a conversation, and the game changes if they score runs early on. But as you can see, Valdi just kept getting out of things. Sweet play by Perdomo there. Both of these defenses were really good, but the Rangers made less mistakes. I will say that in the World Series. Alec Thomas part doesn't really matter as much, but I still will remember the Christian Walker could be double play and how that would have turned things around a little bit. Texas, I would say probably most underrated part of what they bring to the table, Kratz, is they play some really tight D. They really didn't did they even make an error in this World Series in 5 games?
The one that Evan Longoria smashed past Josh Young. I don't know if they called that an error or not, but that would have been like he was in for the bunt, and it just so it basically went under the side of his glove. He didn't move, so I don't know if they called that an
Nope.
error.
Nope,
But
they
this
didn't.
is
No errors confirmed. No errors
no
in 5
errors.
games.
Like, this is why, and I think Simeon, the one that he should have caught from Marte to extend the streak, could have been an error. Either way, this is another example of how important up the middle defense is. And they have some pretty legit up the middle defense. And Corey Seager, Marcus Simeon was a shortstop. They have Leody Taveras and Jonah Heim, an all-star. Like, you have an opportunity to, and Jonah Heim, while he doesn't have a lot of time in the big leagues in his first all-star game, he's not young. Like, he's 27, I think. So you have guys that can play their position, and everyone's going to talk about the fact that they bang, but you're talking about teams that they're not giving you too many extra runs. They're not giving you extra 90 feet, and they're a team that's built to continue to do this. As much as everyone's going to say the last 4 teams that were involved in the championship series are built to do this. I think the Astros window is closing. I think the Diamondbacks, they need to add to be able to get to where they got to this year. But the Rangers, they're going to add if they have an opportunity to. Shoot, they might, after this, they might go in on Ohtani.
You're right. I think they should. That would be insane. I mean, Rangers fans are like, yo, can I just celebrate and have some beverages right now? By the way, great question there from Donnie. They were like, when you guys won a World Series, what time did you go to sleep?
It was late. We were on the road. Crouch, where'd you guys win? You guys won at home or on the road?
I wasn't with the team. I got fired before the World Series.
They didn't bring you though?
No. I was on another team. I finished the season with the Phillies.
Oh, right.
So I partied by myself.
Oh, we partied hard in Houston. The team had a huge party back at the hotel. We flew back in the next morning, landed in Chicago, and just went straight to Rush Street. Nonstop for like 2-3 days. It was great.
So you didn't sleep.
We did Oprah.
There you go. All right.
We did Oprah. We did parade. I mean, we did all kinds of stuff. We literally sat. I'll never forget. We sat at a tavern on Rush, which is now a new place called Bellevue. And with Frank Thomas, me, Aaron Rowan, we sat there outside on Rush Street for literally, I swear, all day and just drank, just because we didn't have nothing else to do except drink. So we just kept drinking.
Well, that's how it's done. That's real talk right here on the FT post-game show.
By the way, I know you guys are talking about what a great job the Rangers did. Let's not forget how bad of a job the Diamondbacks did with runners. I mean, we've already hit it, but first inning, Christian Walker's up. He's your cleanup hitter. You got to put a ball in play right there. Especially, I think he was up 2-0 in the count, and he punched. Like, there's got to be a ball put in play, like somewhere on the ground. We talk about situational hitting. We talk about this. We talk about that. But man, you got to figure out a way to score at some point. They had first 5 innings, they had runners in scoring position, scored 0 runs. Like, that is just bad baseball. I mean, baseball's hard. I get it. But the way your guy was dealing, Zach Gallen should have went in there and said, look, boys, all you need is 1 from me tonight. Because if they just would have got 1, it feels like Gallen. I mean, I know he ended up giving up a run, but man, it just felt like Zach Gallen, if he just could have got ahead, they never would have touched him.
I thought he was going to go complete game. I thought the way he was going, I don't know if he was going to have a no-hitter or not, but you pitch differently if you have 1 or 2. I mean, just 1 run, you pitch differently. I think his stuff would have played, but never scratched it across.
By the way, SM, whatever it is, Smith crazy. I hope the Rangers can re-sign Monty at a discount, but not sure. So many young bats to pick up. Well, I don't know if it'll be a discount, but they do have a shot to sign him. I do think they definitely have a shot, and he was a good fit there. And always keep in mind,
they don't have to pay their bats yet,
right? They're looking to keep the pitching intact. So I think Monty will definitely be in the mix with Texas.
Not a discount.
but not a discount. No, not a discount. You know what the discount is? There's no state income tax. That's your discount. That's built into every signing. That helps. That helps. If it's tied, the the result goes to the state that has less income tax. So it definitely helps. I will tell you that. Anyway,
They're
let's
not
get
going to. They won't re-sign him. I don't think. I mean, because he's going to demand big money, and they have Scherzer already. They have Evaldi next year. They got DeGrom coming back at some point. They're going to have to give Dunning and someone a shot. I just don't. I don't see them re-signing. Not that I'm sure Monty would love to go back, but I don't think that they're going to be able to do that.
And there's like, I would say probably 4 dudes in this system that are in like the top 10 or 12, you know, the lighter rocker kind of crowd that's actually getting close to their mid 20s at this point. That's going to get a good shot once they come back, whatever the timetable is for someone like Rocker, but lighter guys like that too. So we'll see. They cost a little bit less than what Monty is going to make a team fork up to in the offseason. So let's do our player of the game first, not World Series MVP, player of this game.
Foul territory player of the game.
Nathan Eovaldi is our perfect inning 23 player of the game with 6 scoreless innings. How the hell did he do it?
What did Mike Maddox call him? The escape artist?
I mean, yeah, this was insane. And when we obviously place some blame on Arizona, but now we're going to also give some love to what this guy did. You're looking at some regular season stats. And really, the only down part of his postseason was actually that last start. 5 runs in 4 2/3 for him in game 1. And they still won that game anyway. But other than that, Nathan Eovaldi is one of the better pitchers right now in the last, whatever you want to call it, 10 years in baseball in the postseason. I mean, this is a guy that you sign up for big innings because some guys crumble in that situation and some don't. You know what I think about too, Kratz? How much shit that Clayton Kershaw gets for his postseason performances, which I think some of it's warranted. A lot of it's not when you pitch that frequently in a postseason. But I will say this, Nathan Eovaldi does make pitchers like that look bad because, I mean, look at his postseason just now. Whatever it was, 5 or 6 starts, and you have one bad one, and the rest are like complete epic clutch dominance.
I don't get it. Other than the fact that he is an athletic pitcher who has an ability to turn things up when they get tighter, when it becomes a bigger situation, in the sense of like, hey, I can throw a little bit of a better pitch here because it's runners in scoring position. I can throw a little bit of a sharper breaking ball. My heater has a little bit more life. I don't know. I would never defame Kershaw at all. And the whole playoffs, like if you take out, I think it's like 4 1/3 or 3 2/3 innings of his postseason career, he's ridiculous. Like he's historic. But at some point, you know, are they leaving him in too long? Are they, whatever it is, Eovaldi rises to the occasion to stay out there as long as he did tonight, getting through the muck. He was the traffic cop. I think Maddox called him the traffic cop. He was just working through traffic the whole night. And the pitches he was throwing late in those counts, like 1 out, runners in scoring position, 2 runners in scoring position, getting a guy to strike out and then getting the ground ball. Like oh man, it is impressive. And he will forever be a guy that you're going to say, not a Hall of Fame pitcher, but who do you want to pitch a Game 7? Like his name will come up in the Madison Bumgarner type of ilk. And, you know, he's had a great career. Don't get me wrong. But what he's done in the postseason in big spots is ridiculous.
AJ, when you caught dudes, were there some guys where you were like, okay, big game, something's going to change with him? I mean, we see it like Kratz mentioned where, you know, things tighten up, runners in scoring position. I like to look at that stat actually during a regular season. I mean, Blake Snell actually did a really good job in that department this year. He'd get into trouble and then pick up Ks. But what do you think of guys like Eovaldi? And I don't know, I don't want to say quantify, can you describe like how that happens from a guy like him, but it doesn't from others that might, be of his caliber or better in terms of their repertoire?
Some people just have it, whatever it is. You can't quantify it, right? And Freddie Garcia, I always say this. This is one of them dudes, Freddie Garcia. You give him a game in July, he doesn't care about. You're playing a team that's bad. He's going through the motions. You put him in a game with the season on the line. If I had to catch one guy with the season on the line, I'm taking Freddie Garcia. My life's on the line. I'm taking Freddie Garcia. This dude would just had balls, man. That's it. He had balls. And he would go out there and say, listen, the game doesn't mean anything. I'm gonna and it's probably not a great thing to say, but I mean he pitched good, but then the game was on the line, World Series game 4. I've told this story before. He told us before, if we win game 3, he's not giving up a run in game 4. And sure as shit, he went out and pitched, I think, 6 shutout innings, didn't give up a run. It's unbelievable. This guy, there are just people that can do that. And you can't put a value on it. You can't put a sabermetrics number on it. But there are just dudes, and I hate to use the word, but with balls. And sometimes you just need dudes with balls.
Evaldi's got it. There you go. 6 innings,
There you have it.
4 hits, 5 walks, had 1-1-2-3 inning. The rest were quite dirty, but he ends up with scoreless baseball for this team. I can't believe it was 0-0 for that long in this game. Crazy. You had a no-hitter on one side, and you had just absolute traffic panic on the other side, and they bent, but they did not break. So congratulations to the Texas Rangers. And also, how much does home field advantage matter? Or will we get to a point where we start to call it a home field disadvantage, which if you checked out today's podcast, that was actually part of the title, home field disadvantage? ? Because if you're playing the Rangers at home, they are less distracted, clearly. I actually heard a really interesting story today about Marcus Semien and his struggles in the beginning of last year, right? And that was his first year with the Rangers, right? Last year.
Yep.
So he mentioned a bunch of things. Obviously, sometimes you see a guy struggle with a new ball club, but he also mentioned how he has young kids and he was trying to manage his time, and he was getting up too early with them and then napping in the middle of the day and kind of a mess with sleep schedule. And he's such a routine oriented guy. And I thought, what makes everything easier? If you're on the road, you don't have to deal with all of the home shit. And I'm not even just talking about kids and fam chores. If you got a big ass house, even if you got people helping you, just responsibilities that go away. And I know that's the case for other sports as well. But, aside from, I guess, the intricacy and nuances of a ballpark, because each ballpark's different, Kratz, you're just not seeing it, for a while. I mean, it pops up here and there, but you're thinking in the recent past, 2019, the road team won every freaking game out of 7 in the World Series. So there's been a lot of cases where we're like, oh, look, the road team is much better than the home team.
It's wild. It's wild to me. But the thing that you said about Semien, that's real. Trying to get your family adjusted, just because the dude's going to make $140 million doesn't mean we have everything. He just can go get somebody to help out with the kids, or he can just go, they're still human beings and they go through transitions that are tougher. The guy, and it's not like he hadn't been to new teams. He was at the A's, then he went to Toronto, which playing in Toronto, that can be difficult. Because you're in a different country, your family has a tougher time flying in and out of the country. So you deal with these things, and they definitely come to a head when you're not playing well and you don't start a season out very well. And credit to him, credit to whoever, whatever changes they made. You talk about a regimen that he had in the 9th inning. He was eating a snack. You saw him eating a snack in the dugout before he was about to go out to play defense in the bottom of the 9th. Just routine oriented. Sounds like something so remedial and so stupid. But this dude played and broke the record for most plate appearances in a season. Playoffs, and she probably got 70 in spring training too. So this dude's routine oriented, and he's regimented, and he's going to be there for a long time. Rangers fans, he'll forever be a hero in Arlington, but they're going to love watching him age in that place, because he is locked into what he needs to do.
And he was cold for a bit and then figured it out. just now over the last, 2.5 games or so. I mean, he figured it the hell out. So good timing for him and, put really the icing on the cake with his home run. Not that they ended up needing it. So props to him. And I mean, the last thing I think, before we hit a quickie little break and then take a question or comment for the end, the Rangers spent money. Period. They spent money. Here, let's phrase it this way, because we cover this a lot. AJ, do you think more teams will try to copy the Rangers or the Diamondbacks?
Well, it depends. I mean, the teams that want to win will try and copy the Rangers, and the teams that are the Oakland A's and the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to hope that they are the Diamondbacks and catch lightning in a bottle. Now, the question is for the Diamondbacks, are they going to lock up some of these dudes? They've already locked up Corbin Carroll, but Gallen's a Boris guy, right? Merrill Kelly's a little bit older, but they got some other guys that they need to think about locking up.
Gabriel
It's going to be
Moreno.
interesting. Well, obviously, I mean, Moreno for sure.
That's first for me.
What do they do with Christian Walker? I know he's a little bit older, but he's been there. Gurriel, do they try and lock him up? Perdomo, but they have Lawler coming behind them. So there's some questions there for the Diamondbacks, but if they want to sustain this for a long term, they're going to have to lock some dudes up other than Corbin Carroll. And will they do it? Will they get team-friendly deals? They should try at least, much like we talk about the Orioles. They should try to lock up these guys, but will they? I don't know. What did the Rangers do? They went out and everyone bitched last year when they signed Seager, when they signed Simeon, and then they went out and got doubled down with DeGrom and Evaldi, right? People were like, what are the Rangers doing? They got no chance in this division. All they did was go out, win the damn World Series. So you know what? Spending money smartly usually works okay. At least gives you a chance to win the World Series. Teams that don't spend any money at all, guess where they go? They go home when October comes.
And I think this should not be a case where people are like, oh, hey, if we do it like the Diamondbacks, look, they made it to the World Series. That is not the goal. There's not one player that ever says, or any front office person worth his weight in gold would ever say, I'm so glad we made it to the World Series. It's okay that we didn't win. No, the Diamondbacks are going in right now going, we're coming back next year. We're going to do everything we can to come back. And if you're another team right now, the only way you win a World Series next year is by signing Will Smith. Holy crap, the dude won 3 World Series with 3 different teams 3 years in a row. Never been done.
Has that never been done?
Never been done.
Wow, that's incredible. Good for him. And he was the closer for that first team.
22 saves. It's crazy.
Good for him. Congratulations to Will Smith. All right, so let's hit a quick break. We're going to run through a few of your questions and comments right on the other side of this trailer for MLB Perfect Inning 23. Watch this. Scan the QR code on your screen and download MLB Perfect Inning 23. Game features include real-time PvP gameplay with your club members, various MLB legends, updated team unis, rosters, and more. Okay, back at it. Final seg. And then, of course, we're on FT daytime every weekday, 1 o'clock Eastern time. And guess what? We're on in the off season because there are a lot of people that have been anxiously saying, free agency, let's go, hot stove time. And there have been also some people that follow us on a daily basis that are maybe not as into the teams that were remaining and they want to get back into the fold and talk about their ball clubs. Yes, we will welcome everyone back. We've talked a lot about the Rangers and the Diamondbacks for a while. So here's one from Ed. Looks like all you need is 2.5 starting pitchers now, not 5. Agree? No, I disagree, Ed. I mean, look at the Rangers. They actually have how many starters on that roster? And some of them were compromised, right? Like Scherzer, John Gray coming back from injuries. Some were more of a back end type starter, but they were useful, like Dane Dunning. I mean, Martin Perez was part of the postseason roster. So I don't really agree with that. I mean, I would say the Rangers probably had some more pitching depth than most teams at this point.
They had Heaney. Heaney came up huge for him. Like without Heaney, he's a starter. Yes, they didn't use him in the sense of like, oh, okay, he's going to pitch the third game, he's going to pitch the fourth game, that kind of way. But look at the team that won. The team that won had the most starting pitchers throw the best, whether it was in relief or it was starting. So it's a value. It is a value.
Frankie getting really ahead of it. Are the Rangers the favorites to win it next year?
Braves.
Braves?
Braves. Braves are still the favorite.
Okay.
They're going to be
I think the odds already came out. Braves, Dodgers, Astros, Rangers are the top four for next year.
No Phillies.
But the Braves are the favorite. No Phillies. Braves are the favorite.
Okay. I think the Phillies should be on that list too as a top 4 or 5, but okay. Justin, good ass show. Maybe Astros. Wait, can you bring Justin's question back? Are you guys having a winter meeting special when they go to Nashville next month? Yeah, winter meeting special. I don't know if it'll be in Nashville because most GMs don't say anything and they hide in their bunkers. So just letting you know. We have other trips planned, but it's not like a top priority. We'll see. We'll keep you posted. But I will promise you this, just like we did at the trade deadline, we'll have the best damn coverage of the deadline. And we won't hold back. And we'll give teams shit if they don't do anything. And we'll praise teams if they do things that make sense, like what the Rangers did. So lastly,
remember, Scott, remember how much we praised the Rangers when they went and got Montgomery and Scherzer? Remember that?
A ton.
A lot. At the trade deadline, we were like, hey, this team was going for it. And remember, there's a guy up in Seattle, Cal Raleigh, that didn't get told to apologize. He did not. They're only trying to win 54% of the games. They didn't do shit, and they didn't make the playoffs. The Rangers made the playoffs, made the moves they needed to make at the trade deadline, and here they are with the Commissioner's Trophy, jumping up and down, spraying champagne.
Chapman too, Kratz. I know he was a roller coaster ride, but he was a reliever. Like, he helped.
He helped, and that was one of the first chips to fall. They were one of the first ones to go and get Chapman, one of the first moves, even really like a week before the trade deadline. The Royals had that connection with, Dayton Moore being there, Chris Young being there, and they went and got him right away, and it was kind of like, he's
a week. Shit, they got him in like May, didn't they? It was like a month ahead of the trade deadline. It was a long time. It was
right before the All-Star break. But we can check that out. The other thing that you can expect from Foul Territory, normally when GM meetings happen, you hear a lot of malarkey coming out of these GM meetings, like, oh, no, we're not trying to push our agenda, but you only hear the one side push to certain places. That's the beauty of what we do here is we'll ask the people who are actually in these things, okay, what's actually going on? No, that's not at all. Because if you start hearing people trying to manipulate, the size of contracts that are going to be given out, all that is them insider trading through a media outlet. If you want real talk, it's going to be here about what actually runs the game. What runs the game are fans and players. That's what runs the games. And you're welcome, Ranger fans, because your team cares about both of those things.
Hell yes. Your team showed that they care, and they went through some lean times, and when it was time for them to strike, they fucking struck. And that's what this is all about. That's all fans ask for too. Even if your team does come up short, that's all you ask for. So yes, thank you everyone. This was season number 1, but it's not ending, obviously. We're back on tomorrow. We're on the next day to actually be in Atlantic City for another show at Borgata, which we do many times on Friday. So if you want to say hi in person and you're down in that area, you're welcome to. But otherwise, what? Congratulations.
Right. You guys.
Yeah, but you're on tomorrow though. Yeah, Kratz and me and Todd Father will be on Friday.
You guys,
but you'll be on tomorrow.
You guys do the shows in New Jersey. I'm not allowed there.
You go
No.
golfing on Friday.
One day we'll let you in. But yes, congratulations to the 2023 World Series champion, Texas Rangers. And lastly, one more little bonus show for you on FT, the Players' Choice Awards, which has what I will stand by is one of the coolest awards in baseball that I think needs more attention, is the overall best player in the sport for the year, the most outstanding player, best overall player in all of baseball. It's one award, and it includes the finalists of Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Shohei Ohtani. That, among many other awards, will be announced right here on Foul Territory on Thursday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Okay? So we'll see you on there too. Thanks again to everyone for following our coverage. We're just getting started. So MLB and everyone else, beware. We're coming for you. We'll see you soon.
Congrats, Rangers.